Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and I apologize for the white shirt. It's just me and Baby J at home today. He's taking a nap. I'm squeezing this video in while he's asleep, I hope. So let's get to it. We're going to talk about team building in a cost 220 limited environment today, considering things like the map, considering what kind of cool combinations you can do. I'm going to give you some theory crafting ideas that will help you build a cost limited team. And I'm going to start with what I think is the easiest one. I call it the Zazan. Look, we're at cost limit 220, right? Normally with that kind of restriction on our team building, it would be very hard to use two 100 cost units. However, if you have Zazan, Zazan's biggest strength is this. He's cost 20. That means if you have cost 220, you can use Zazan and any other two units you want in the game. So this is a very effective strategy. If you don't want to have to think too hard about your team building here, I think this is the best way to go. I think this is also a very effective defensive idea. You could put Zazan in slot 1 and hide any other two units you want behind him. Like, who cares that he's water? Who cares that he's basically not going to do anything for you? And he could go for some charms or something like that. But really, with the Zazan strategy, what you're doing is having him hold two vision cards for your group. Note here, he's holding two dark boosting vision cards. And then run him with just two great units, have them try to 2v3 the enemy, and any contribution you get out of Zazan is just a bonus. A little bonus tip here, though, is consider having him use a TMR with a really good buff. Keen Blade is a really good buff. You know, Rob's TMR, something like Moonbow Battleware, give your whole group the agility buff from this. This is something Zazan could do to help contribute to you winning the fight outside of just only being cost 20 and holding two vision cards for the rest of your group. So I think this is the easiest strategy to go for, and that's why I wanted to show it off first. Now, if you want to get a little bit more creative, get actual bang for your buck out of all three of your units, let's talk about how to think about that. I'm going to go over here and show off some example 220 cost formations, taking advantage of a couple principles. One is good MR or less units. When I'm putting teams together and I have to mix in an MR unit or an SR unit, a lot of times I like to have them not be my damage dealers. Now, I say that when I show you off my team here in a minute, you're going to be, put a pin in that and call me a hypocrite in a minute. But typically speaking, a unit like Nasha or a unit like Mont, you can throw gear on them, Esper's vision cards, and overcome some of their cost limitations. Like, they're not going to do a lot of damage for you, but you can stack a bunch of defensive stats, have them gain some hate. In Mont and Nasha's case, they can walk into a fight with some hate on them, have them just eat enemy attacks, and that is a very effective thing for tanks to do. So Mont and Nasha are two really good ideas for this team building situation. Dario, another example of somebody who can do this. And then if you do that, the other principle I want to talk about is something called the cost 70 UR principle. And it just means that these are URs right here on the screen that are only 70 cost. If we look at these, many of these units are insanely strong for only being cost 70. Special shout out to Engelbert and Halloween Little Leela right here. How these two get away with being cost 70 is insane. This will really help you build team comps that allow you to use more than one UR, or in some cases 3 UR units, especially if you're light. More on that in a minute. Now, my team comp that I'm using for Guild Wars takes advantage of Leela. The comp I just showed on the screen takes advantage of Victoria. My Earth comp, where if we switch back to if we switch back here and show the Mont comp that I got, Mont is an MR tank. You could use Oberon as a 100 cost unit and then still have another piercing earth unit in there in Eileen, who on this map can stay kind of far at range and throw spears off the stairs. That's sort of all she's going to do for you, but at cost 220, you're getting away with having a 100 cost unit in your group and another UR DPS unit. I really like to have, I think the easiest way, if you want to do a bunch of damage, is have your damage dealers be the focus of your group. In both this Mont example and this Nasha example, my DPS units are URs. Velis is here to do his magic damage and support Nasha. Victoria's here to do, she could charm a little bit and she'll do big piercing damage. She also has a lot of range, which is nice on this map, although range height does mess with her a little bit. If you look at the Zazan group I showed off, Joker and Leela, some of the top 2 damage dealers in the game, just let them go out there and clean up. Now, another example I wanted to show you was light. If you wanted to build a light comp, this comp right here is cost 220, and that's insane. Basically, Engelbert and Sakura are both only 70 cost units, which allows you to mix in Yuna. So you literally have one of the top tanks in the game with one of the top supports in the game and a UR damage dealer backing them up. So this is an example of something you could do with Light. Ma Cherie would also fit into this comp if you wanted to, or if you wanted to change this up a little bit, you could, instead of using Yuna, come into your Light roster and use Fina, an MR unit that I know a lot of people have built up. Now, personally, I did not. Where's Fina? Fina, where are you hiding? Mine's only 99, but that gives me another 20 cost to play with, which means I could come in here and instead of using Sakura, I don't know, use somebody like, let's say Violet or Locke or somebody like that. You can get away with a lot with Light. So if you're having trouble team building and maybe you don't want to use Zazan, pivot towards Light, and you might be able to do some fun things with that. Now, let's show off my team. Here is my current offensive team for this limited Guild Wars. I am going for Joom as the big ticket item on my team. I'm getting to use her. I'm allowed to use her because I'm taking advantage of Little Leela's cheap cost as a UR, and I'm taking advantage of one of our newer MR units in Sorel, who, even though she's an MR, I can get her up to 1600 attack. Now, keep in mind, I have a wide selection of Espers, vision cards, gear, things like that, so I can get a little bit more creative with my builds, but the thought process behind this build is, I think a lot of people are going to be running missiles, so I'm running special missile defense. I'm also stacking both single target resist, like from Odin right here, and AoE resist from Culmination, our newest vision card in the game. That is a flat 20% damage reduction across the whole group. When you're in these limited cost situations, having that like if you can get both 20 single target and 20 AoE resist just applied to your group through vision cards, that can oftentimes be the difference between somebody like an MR unit getting one shot or two shot, which can really help your group succeed. Now we're going to go into a fight now, and I'm going to show you I'm going to walk you through why I built my team this way and show you off exactly how they work. Okay, now I obviously skipped the part where I show off my entire guild's defense literally hours before Guild War starts. We spent some time putting together a lot of our defenses, so I don't want to show those off. But what I am going to show is someone in our guild was running a lightning-based defense, where they're using Liarte as the very low-cost unit, and because they're doing that, are able to back it up with an Esther and a Nivlu for like time-made shenanigans and a lot of range, a lot of archery, stuff like that. Now, here's some kind of advanced tips for this map that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about them through the lens of watching my team perform right here. First of all, Joom. I have the long range skills on my tanks turned off on this map. There is going to be a lot of ranged units that you're fighting right here on this map, and a lot of units that have AoE damage. You do not want your tanks chilling back with the rest of your team, and you don't want your team grouping around your tank. So for Joom, I turned off like her Stormwind Rend, all of these moves she has where she'll stand right there and do attacks. So instead, she'll continue to buff herself and move forward. Right now, my Leela and my Sorel are in like no danger at all. As long as my Joom can live and Leela can keep providing her heals, we're set. And in fact, at this point, Joom has taken so little damage from the first round of the enemy attacking, we haven't even had to heal. She's just going to keep putting her shield up, something she wouldn't have done if she had some of her longer range attacks on and was choosing to do those instead. Meanwhile, Sorel is literally unable to even participate in this fight because it's happening too far away, but that's fine. While these things are going on, the enemy is running out of AP. I don't mind my Sorel taking a minute to get into the fight if it means the enemy damage units are going to be out of damage by the time I get there. We're now debuffing them. Nivlu's taken that debuff. Oh look, Esther's out of AP because we went forward, did not allow them a bunch of turns to buff, kind of use their range against them, and Joom is super tanky. So here we go. Joom's going to solo down Nivlu right here. This has been all just Joom and Little Leela at this point. Finally, my DPS unit will get involved, does a lot of damage to Esther, who's just a super tanky unit, honestly. And now Leela will start doing Leela things. She's going to go for damage. There's 6,300. Let's see if Joom can end this. She can, and clearly Joom was the MVP of that fight, but that was my focus, right? Joom is my 100 cost unit. She's my big ticket item. I took advantage of, I used what cost limited I had to with an MR damage dealer and Little Leela, and then I really focused in on Joom. I think that's the biggest tip I have. If you're using big ticket units, whether it's two big ticket units like Joker, Little Leela, or one really big ticket unit like Joom, make them the focus of your group. I think you got to see right there how my group was all about unkillable tank, moves forward towards the enemy, sustain them, and eventually the damage will get there and clean everybody up. That's how that worked. So let me get out of my guild defenses real quick and we'll wrap this video up. Alright, so there it is. That's my team. Those are kind of my tips. Again, the big ones are, easiest thing to do, build a Zazan team like what you see on the screen. Use 2 of your best units, put Zazan in there just to hold vision cards and buff them, and maybe cast a TMR buff for your group and just let that ride. That's the easiest build. If you want to get a little bit more creative than that, again, look to take advantage of strong MR units, whether it's tanks like Nasha, Mont, Dario, whether it's like King Curry, who's very effective on this map, Liarte, people like that, or build around one particular strong unit, which is what I was doing in my group, while taking advantage of those like cheap URs and strong MR units. Those are my tips, guys. Now, we do have a bonus account review coming in for this video as well, so let's go there right now. And today's bonus account review comes to us from Rheingold, and like me, Rheingold is a day 1 player who has never missed a day in this game. Also like me, Rheingold is a whale, so let's take a look at this account. Let's see what a day 1 whale account looks like. And I think some people will be surprised that even day 1 players who are whales do not have everything. He's also the leader, the community leader of the Discord community Sanctuary. Yeah, I said that right. I will link that community in the chat. Sub-leader in Guild Midgard and former guild leader of Pandora. So let's do it. Rheingold, thank you for supporting my channel. Let's check out this account. Now, first of all, Resnick as the home screen unit is a big flex. That's really cool. You can see Royal Rank 12 approaching Royal Rank 13. So it takes a long time to get from 12 to 13, guys. Even for whales, 12 to 13 is a journey. So you're almost completed that journey. Mastery levels, got a couple platinum masteries with everything else being gold. Yeah, mine looks a lot like this as well, with some platinums and some golds mixed in there. For fire, what do we have? What do we not have? Okay, we have Setia, King Mont. I would say those are like some of your top 2. What's missing here would be Valentine's Day, Ildira, and Terra. I'd say those are the 2 important URs that you're missing, but you can do whatever you want with this fire account when it comes to PvE. Just maybe not have the best chains in the world without Valentine's Day, Ildira. For ice, you have the Rosa, which is the, I'd say she's one of the more rare 120s, her and Fryevia maybe. This account is definitely ready for Agrius, maybe Snow when they come along. So looking really good here. The missing thing from ice is definitely Velis. And that's surprising actually. Like for, yeah, Velis is worth getting at some point. For wind, Joom, yeah, you guys know my feelings on Joom. I think she is the glue that holds wind together. If you have Joom, you can mix and match whatever else you want. Has both of the big ticket healers for wind and then the DPS units as well. So looking really good right here. No Winter Luartha, who I think is insanely strong, but you don't need it, right? You can make it work with your evasion girls or your magic damage dealers. Let's see, for Earth, a lot of Earth, maybe one of your lowest as far as 120s go, but you do have the big 2, which is Oberon and Noctis. Eileen is at least at 99, so I can give you at least the pass on Eileen. For lightning, yeah, you got them, right? You've got Cloud, Esther, Charlotte, mix in some Resnick if you want to go like double DPS Resnick, something like that. Really, really strong here. No Abara, but not really needed. You don't have Abara or Renan, so I guess you can't run the like ultimate magic team, but you got the missiles, you got the 9S, you got the slashers, your lightning is looking real strong. For water, you have the big 2, Celis and Astrius, as well as most of the pieces of the like PvE team, right? Farm, Titus, Ildira, and Glassy are big PvE units. I would definitely say if you wanted to go for like big PvE water scores, Rachez can be very important for that. So I like her for the UR there. For light, I mean, yeah, you got it, right? Light's looking good. You have the big ticket people. You can do basically whatever you want with Light. Your Rams is 99. I'm sure he's ready for the 120 when that rolls around. For Dark, again, like it's almost a whole page of 120s right here. I don't see anything that I would like make special note of here. You have the power duo. You've got Mama Helena and Golbez. You got Duane, Kane. Yeah, you're good to go. Your Dark is looking real strong. Now, when we get to vision cards, when we have these like super whale accounts, I just like to count pages of level 99 vision cards. So there's 1, there's 2, well, there's 3. That would be let's give it 3.85 85. When you get to Europa, we hit those level 85s. The Marymore at 85, that's interesting. If you wanted to run that Marymore comp, you might want to get her card leveled up, but I'm not going to like sit here and give you advice about your vision cards. You clearly know what you're doing. Now, here's another page. This is Espers at this point, right? Yeah, we're creeping over into Espers now. Did I put these in the wrong order? I did. So let's sort them. Let's count pages of 99 Espers. Here's one page. Here is, like, maybe these are backwards. Nope, okay. I just see a page and a half, which is plenty, right? You have the best tanking Esper in the game in Demon Wall. You've got Bahamut and Odin, which I would say, here's your generic best DPS physical Esper, generic best magic Esper. You've mixed in a lot of the other good ones, and then you're working on some back here. A lot of the class limited still getting worked on. Honestly, your Esper game is good enough. You can continue to level these up as you need them. For the weapons, a lot of +5s. Note the 2 Mythgraven Blade +5s. Really good, and also really good for like PvE chaining teams. If you have 2 sword users and you don't want to have to give them like AP regeneration, this is kind of a theme that you're going to see with his account. 2 +5s there are really nice, and then a lot of +5 stuff here, even like raid gear. You got the bingo board stuff, just a lot of +5 weapons, which is pretty normal for an account that's played for a long time, so good job there. A lot of pages of +5 weapons, right? Okay, when we get to gear, not showing off the TMR stuff, looking at your raid gear, pretty good. A lot of +5 raid gear, almost +5 right here and here. I'd probably look to finish those up next chance you get. You're really close to those with the +4s. Here's a lot of +5 stuff that's like at that MR level. Again, plenty of gear here mixed in with your TMRs that you can mix and match basically whatever team you want. This page I thought was funny because it's just a lot of smart coats. Like it's 1 +5 smart coat and then a whole bunch of other smart coats. We've all been there. We've all been there. And then if we look at accessories, there's the Jack Frost doll, 2 Shinra bangles at +5, 2 Titus's necklaces. You got the tower gear, Alexandrite ring at +4. Something I like to mention is that Alexandrite ring, when it gets buffed, right, when that JP buff to it comes around, I think it becomes the best accuracy item in the game once again. Terra's ribbon didn't get done, but like really, you're sitting pretty with your TMRs and accessories. You could do basically whatever you want. And then for trust stones, let's see what trust stones you have. A lot of UR trust stones, right? 2 pages worth of UR trust stones. You are using them on Bells and Zombie TMR. I think those are both very common. Saiga Gauntlet, very good for agility and that move buff with the hate down on it. Okay. Locke's Bandana, this means to me that you're probably running some evasion teams. You've got King Mont's TMR, where if you're going for AoE resistance, a great TMR buff is King Mont's TMR. And then you have Ayaka's shoes right here, which is just her solid set of spirit gear with some nice agility on it. And it looks like you might even have some more, but this is probably what you got for like, level 20 stuff equipped to your accessories. So Rheingold, thank you so much for supporting my channel. Always happy to just show off an account flex without any, you don't need my advice, but it's nice for people to see what, what a day 1 whale looks like sometimes too. So thank you for supporting my channel. And guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you next time. Peace.